Hey, welcome back. I'm Mark Chase and this is Chase Your Taste. Hey, before we get started, push that little subscribe button down there at the bottom. That little bell lets you know when I post one of these videos. Hey, the weekend's coming on and I was thinking, hey, how about we make some homemade buttermilk biscuits? It's going to take me back to my childhood, going up to my grandma and grandpa Chase's. My grandpa was a dairy farmer, so while we were out there helping grandpa milk the cows, grandma would be in there making some biscuits. And she made some homemade buttermilk biscuits. It was about that big. I call them grandma biscuits. So what do you say we get to cooking? All right, for our buttermilk biscuits, we're going to need 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. We'll get those mixed in. And we need, I don't know if I mentioned it, but 2 cups of flour. Now I'm using a stick of butter. Recipe calls for 6 tablespoons, but I'm using the whole stick. And then this butter's cold. Just pulled it out of the refrigerator after I cut it up, put it back in there, so to keep it nice and cold. And then we're just gonna take our deal here. We're just gonna break this up. Now, if you don't want to skip this part, you can do something that I've seen people do, and that's get your butter frozen, and then you just take it and put it in a cheese grater and grate it up with a cheese grater. And we're just going to use our little pastry cutter here. Get in here and just cut these up real good. Now, if you don't want to use butter, you can use lard, you can use grease. Mom used to use bacon grease. And you can even put that in there, also a little bit of that in there for a little bit of flavor. Alright, I think we got it all. Just want to make sure that, now I've done this by hand also when I'm up at the lake. Just take your hand in there and break everything up. Making biscuits doesn't take very long, so just want to make sure you get all that butter and stuff off your cutter here. It's all good and done. All right, then we're going to add about a cup. Buttermilk. Get that stirred up in there. A little bit more. Not quite a cup yet. There we go. Like I said, my grandma Chase, she used to make buttermilk biscuits almost every morning. Grandpa was a dairy farmer, so they were just old country folk, and while Grandpa was out milking the cows, Grandma would be in there making breakfast. She'd make biscuits almost every morning. I know when I was there, she made biscuits every morning. Okay, so we got all that put together. So let me get things situated here, and we'll roll this out on some parchment paper. Now, I use parchment paper instead of my kitchen counter. It's easier to clean up, but if you don't have any parchment paper, just do it out on the counter. So let me get some of this stuff put away, and we'll be right back. All right, so I've got things cleaned up. I've got my parchment paper down, so we're going to take a little bit of flour, sprinkle some flour out on our parchment paper. Like I said, if you don't have parchment paper, that's fine. You can use your countertop. Just makes it a little easier to clean up. So I'm going to take our dough here. Just going to turn it out on our parchment paper. Just like that. Put this off over here in the sink. Take a little bit of flour, sprinkle it on top. I'm just going to take and fold it over and sprinkle a little bit with flour. Fold it over, fluff it down. Here. All right, fold it over. Now, some people roll it out. I like doing it by hand. Keeps it fluffier, doesn't squish everything together. You can see those bits of butter in there. All right, flatten it out a little bit more, and then we'll fold it over one more time. You can even get the kids involved in on this. So they'll learn how to do it. Fold this over this way one more time. Alright, so now we're going to bring this out. Put a little more flour on our parchment paper here. Now you can roll it out, like I said, you can roll it out. I'm just going to use my hands. I'm going to make it about now, depending on how much you want them to puff up, how thick you'll make it. We'll go about 1/4 of an inch or about 1/2 inch or so. That looks good. I like good fluffy biscuits. Got my cutter here. Dip it in the flour and just press down. Just like that. Let me get my pan here. Alright, so I got my pan here. I'm using a cast iron skillet. Now you can put these in a sheet tray if you want, whatever, you know. So we're going to go ahead and cut up some more biscuits. Now if you don't have a cookie cutter like I've got, you can use a lid to something. I've seen Mom use cups. Just whatever you can to make these nice little round biscuits. That nice perfect biscuit, lay that in the bottom there. Now when we get all these done, they're going to be touching each other. When you put these in there, you want to make sure they're touching. And then when you have this extra, just get some flour on your hands. We'll use as much of this as we can. Just kind of fold it over. Make some more. I like to lightly pat it down because it gives us a nice little look on the top there. All right. A couple more. Flatten that out just a little. We'll get a couple of them out of this. One and just flatten it down far enough. That's all right. And like that. Flatten that just a little bit. We're going to get more out of here. Now if you want to make more biscuits, you can double this recipe. Now, just a little forewarning. Your family gets used to you doing this, you'll be doing it all the time. I know when I go to the lake, the people I go to the lake with just love it when I make biscuits. Of course, when I make biscuits, I make fried potatoes, gravy, stuff like that. Big old country breakfast. Okay, so that's alright, put that out there like that, just like that. Now you can take this right here and make you a little heart shape like that. Look at that. I don't have no room in there. If you can do that, give that to your favorite kid, or your favorite husband, or favorite wife. Just like that. Alright. Or you can make little biscuit balls like that. Little tiny biscuits. Place those down in there. Yeah, just make it a little fun. Yeah, you can have the kids do this. They'll want this one. That's mine. That's mine. That in there like that. Waste what? Waste not, want not. Right? Is that how that saying goes? Waste what? All right, put that over there. There we go. We used it all. So now these are ready to go. I probably didn't say this in the beginning, but you want to preheat your oven to 425, and they'll pop in the oven about 15 minutes or so. You'll just keep checking on them, check for that golden brown on the top of it. So we're going to pop these in the oven, make some breakfast, and we'll be right back. All right, so I got my biscuits in my pan. This is the reason why I use parchment paper right here. That way all I have to do is fold this stuff up. Just like that. Easy peasy, it's cleaned up. All I gotta do is wipe it down. So, cool. All right, so we got breakfast going. We're gonna put our biscuits in the oven. Just like that, like I said, 425, preheated oven. When they're nice golden brown, we'll be right back. All right, let's check on our biscuits. Oh, they got a nice good golden brown crust on the top, so we're going to pull our biscuits out and bring them over onto the counter. Oh, those look good. All right. All right, look at our biscuits. Nice golden brown. I got some butter here. Let's take one of these out. Take our knife here and open it up. Let's do it. I always like using a fork, doesn't smash it. Just put your fork down in there like that. Pry that open. Get the, oh, look at that. That looks delicious. Take a dab of butter, put that in there, just like that. We're going to go ahead and butter the rest of these biscuits and we'll be right back. Alright, so here's our buttermilk biscuits. I'm going to give one a try. I'm going to eat one of these little ones. Got some butter on there. Look how nice and flaky that looks. That's good. You can also put a little bit of honey on that. Now that takes me back to my childhood, going up to Grandma and Grandpa Chase's house and up there at the farm, helping Grandpa going out there milking cows, coming back in, Grandma having a big old platter full of eggs, bacon or sausage, and a big old platter full of biscuits. So hey, give this recipe a try. Let me know what you think about it. Hey, And don't forget to chase your taste.